Hey Jimmy, how you doing today? Or
Hey, I'm great.
tonight? You're currently in LA at the moment. What time is it now? What time we got here in
Uh,
LA?
I think it says coming up right on nine, pretty close to
We're at
nine right now.
nine
Yeah.
o'clock. Right. First off, my first question to everybody is, how are you doing in the pandemic? Have you had to cancel things? Are you and your family staying safe? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, I'm doing fine. I mean, it's obviously not ideal. I don't think anyone's having too much fun with it, but we
Yes.
have getting by. Um, it's really tricky because we're not really allowed to work out here. I live in Hollywood and I'm in the film industry, and yeah, we're pretty much on hold until further notice. But you find side projects to work on, so staying busy with that. My folks, though, my family, my sisters, and my mom and dad are back in Missouri, and they seem to be doing just fine. Because you know what, when you live on a farm, every day is social distancing.
Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. So were you on film at the moment, or like before in February, before it all sort of come crashing down, or did you have plans to sort of do films, or was there
Yeah,
anything going at that time?
there's a group that I work with actually. My agent reps several people, a lot of which are professional stuntmen, and I do quite
Right.
a bit of myself when I'm not acting. And we kind of put together this concept project that we're working on, and we're kind of finding ways around it, like working out of the state, like just things like that. You get creative.
Yeah.
Um, it just got delayed. I mean,
Yeah.
more than
Right.
we're still gonna get it done. I had two auditions, one callback for two different projects. One was a movie that was shooting in China when this is all
Yeah.
happening,
Right.
the street from where it was happening, so that got cut.
Right.
uh, yeah, it was a war movie, and I don't think they're doing it anymore.
Well, that's the funny thing. I was actually in Shanghai before this all happened, so I got out of there straight away as well. So yes, yes.
I got
Very
really,
interesting.
actually. I went there last year. Last year, I was in the Forbidden City, and
Oh yeah, right. Wow.
well, it was
So
amazing.
tell us about that. I'm always interested to find out other people's opinions of China. What did you think of that?
Uh, it was it was a different world. It
Yes.
was really opposite of like everything in America. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. Um, I mean, just the culture was so different. The little things that you take for granted, are just, the norms are not the same. So it was very interesting. And I love traveling for that reason. I actually travel quite a bit just to get a little taste of how everyone has it on the other side. And
Yes.
it keeps it juicy, keeps it nice and interesting.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very, very interesting, Shanghai, but they've got some of their things that you see and you're not used to in the US and Australia. That they'll be spitting and it's like, oh my god. But to them, it's just another thing. It's just what they do. So I'm sure when they come here and they go, oh my god, what did you do that for? So that
Doing it longer than I've been around. So what am I gonna say?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And where else did you go to? What other city did you go to? Shanghai, Beijing?
I was in Beijing. Yep, that was very short, little layover tour actually. So I was there for 10 hours, um, and I still got to see the Great Wall, Forbidden City, Tiananmen Square, and I don't know, like a couple other things. But it was a quick trip. We were really hoofing it.
Right.
Um, Also went to Hong Kong, which I loved. Went to
Yes.
Disneyland out there, Disney World, whatever they call it,
Yes.
in China, and
Hey,
we did it up. Did Macau as well, and that same
nice.
Philippines also actually. It was
Oh,
we were doing crazy rich Asians wedding out there.
right.
Uh,
But what an interesting all different cultures like the Philippines and then Macau is very different again with all the casinos and so Hong Kong is again totally different to so yeah
oh
you're
yeah,
getting to. It is we may as well talk about it now. So you've been to quite a lot of places in your time. So I also saw that you had a trip to Costa Rica as well. So tell us a little bit about that experience as well.
Oh man, I'll give you the highlights because I'll
Yeah.
talk all day. You let me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, Costa Rica was great. Stayed in a nice area, gated community, which is a lot different than our gated community. Still got robbed, actually. It was kind of great because they were the nicest crooks that I've ever not met. Sleeping in this building, and right, and it's a nice area. And in the morning, I come out to the kitchen, and the thing is out there they don't use air conditioning a lot, even in the nicer
Oh
areas.
wow.
They just leave the windows open, and there were bars in the windows, so no one can get in. Right, it's safe, but you just let the night air come in, and all the
Yes.
bugs. But I'm a country person; bugs don't bug me too much. Bugs, they
Yes.
don't. But we think they used a hook or something to get through, like a hook on a stick to get through the window, and got in our bags. But
Yeah.
these guys are so nice. They took my wallet. Because I come out and I'm about to make breakfast, and I see my wallet sitting on the kitchen sink with all my credit cards and my passport sitting in a nice little pile on top of it. No cash, but they left everything else, and it was just right there. I'm like, well, that was considerate.
Oh my God.
But I guess that was the lesser fun parts of the trip. One of the better parts was going surfing on this hidden beach out there that only the locals know.
Right.
Really cool. You had to go through this rickety bridge through like a marshland to get to this just beautiful, perfect beach on the other side. And you go through the jungle to get to that. So it's, different types of rain. It's mostly jungle, but we went to Arenal, which is one of the big volcanoes down there, and just fantastic rainforest hikes. It's so lush and so hot up there, as you can imagine. Heated from the earth, But, and we got a guide to take us to Belay, so we basically jumped off of 7 waterfalls to get back down the mountain / volcano. It was amazing. And then we went to Hanging Bridge National Park, which was definitely a big Instagram spot. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And was that for work, or did you actually do work down there? Was this like a vacation or?
Most of my overseas travel is pleasure, just because I'm very worldly. I love, again, I grew up in a small town where almost nobody ever leaves, and it's great. The people there are just awesome. They really are just nice people. They just don't leave a lot. So when I moved to LA, I got a little taste of, I guess, a bigger more worldly culture. Yes. And you make friends, you talk to people. I actually worked this show. I didn't work the show. I did a promo for it. Outlander. You might have heard of it. I know it's huge.
Yeah.
And I got paid quite well, actually, to run around in a kilt, shirtless, with spray paint tattoos all over me, and doing my Polish accent all over town. Me and about 20 other burly guys. They had Chippendales they brought in from Vegas. They had this one guy who was blonde-haired, blue-eyed Buddhist monk, and they were doing all kinds of craziness in the streets, and we were all just running around in our kilts causing havoc. So I'm like, I got to see what the homeland's like. So I went to Scotland. Amazing.
Oh, yeah, right. Wow, that's so cool. So traveled to a lot of places. Have you been to Australia yet?
Oh man, it's on the top of my list, my friend.
Yes.
I haven't actually, I was looking at a trip either this year or next year. And then, of course, coronavirus paid us a visit, and travel became non-existent.
Yes, that's right. Well, the funny thing was, I was actually supposed to go to LA before this whole pandemic as well. So going to see my friend there, and
right, we'll do that. What do they call it? Like a house swap?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's do a swap. Yeah, absolutely. But speaking of the US, and every time I've been there, it's amazing. So many things to see. The people are so nice and generous. I just put the Australian accent on, and they're, oh my God, You're not from here, are you? So always very, very nice to me, but the things that I'm seeing in the news recently is not the greatest. We've got the pandemic, we've got the racial, we're only seeing the bad things on the news, and I'm sure that there's more places that are not happening. But how is LA at the moment? And tell us a bit about where you're living at the moment.
That's a very interesting question, and I'm glad you brought it up, actually, because obviously most people are dealing with the pandemic in some way, shape, or form. That's across the globe. I don't know about riots overseas. We have had quite a few here. I know that there's rioting and there's protesting. I'm not going to get into that because I'm sure
absolutely
kind of touchy about it. Yeah. But we've had a lot of issues, and especially in LA, it's been crazy because I actually live in like the spot where people think of when they want to visit Hollywood. I've got the Walk of Fame 4 blocks away. I've got a cat. He's the high voltage studio across the street. I can literally walk to all of the things that people like to visit when they come here. Amoeba Records down the street, yada yada, Sunset Strip. So when we were having the really bad issues with that, it was happening all around me. I could literally go on the roof and I'd go to this side of the building and I'd see mobs of people running through the streets, destroying businesses, like burning things. And then on this side, I'd see like sirens just going by like constantly, about 10 helicopters over there. And it's crazy because, you see these things like, like Rodney King back in the day, like I wasn't, but of these things that happen all around the world all the time, uprisings, whatever. And you just don't really, it's like you can't prepare for it when it's right in your, and happening all around you. What
it's
you
like a movie. It's like a movie, isn't it? Like, you see it in the movie and you go, it will never happen to us,
That's the business I signed up for, right? So I guess I'm just living my dream.
Yeah,
I love it, but it can be scary, and the police, I guess, I don't know what's happening with that right now, but there's a lot of people doing things I think that they normally wouldn't because they know that they can get away with it because there's not as many police out, or they're being help people. So it's unfortunate, and
the thing is, a lot of really good people over there, and hopefully you can solve these problems, and hopefully I can come back over there and see all my friends again, and everybody can get back to normal, and they can get back to their jobs, and you know what I mean, and continue pretty much. But
that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go. Let's talk about you now specifically. So, actor, model, stuntman, writer, director, barber.
Oh no, you saw.
Now tell us, just before we go through. Before we go through that, let's why did I say barber?
No.
There was a video on Facebook, and it seems like you've got a new profession, to add to your.
We do what we can for extra. We just got to help each other out. In the pandemic when nobody can get their hair cut.
Yeah.
And though there might not be a lot of work, there's still some here and there, and you got to keep up appearances for so Skype auditions and whatnot, like so
online. So so many things to do, and even play. You've been in plays, TV. So let's go back to when it all began. You're from House Springs in Missouri. Is that correct? So tell us a little bit about this place growing up. What was it like? I'm not familiar with this place, so I know of Missouri, but I'm not familiar with House Springs. So tell us a little bit about growing up there.
Let me tell you about House Springs, Missouri. Just
Okay.
No, it's a small town. It's very blue collar. Honestly, it's a really, really nice town. Very low amount of crime. Just the nicest people. Everyone will give you the shirt off their back, if you need it. Figuratively speaking. But there's just not a lot to do there, as I think most small towns can relate.
What's the population there, roughly?
Oh, gee, I don't even know. I've never kept track of that, but
Right.
probably I either know probably like 50% of the people there, or like
Right.
or like know their relative or something. It's pretty. But no, it was great. I really, really am grateful that I grew up in a place like this, because it's really spread out. There's a lot of room to run around, which I think is important for kids, and especially a safe community. That was nice. I never really had to worry about anything too much. And we were close enough to St. Louis where we could go to the Cardinals game,
Oh, yes.
and there's always stuff to do downtown. So, really not bad. But I'm really, again, a reason that I'm really happy that I came from there is because I learned the value of hard work. I'd have to get up at like 6 a.m., work with the horses, feed them. We'd have new ones come and go, and we'd have to train them, things like that, milk the goats when we had them. We didn't always have goats, chickens, turkeys, things like that. But yeah, and it's definitely not the same business as out here. Completely.
Yes.
But when you've done all that, it gives you a thick skin. So
Absolutely.
when you're out here, traipsing the hills of Hollywood,
Yes.
you got thick skin.
That's right. Absolutely. And did your mother or father, or were they in the entertainment industry as well? Did they acting or plays or theater?
No, actually, my mother is a pharmacist, as are my two sisters. And my dad is a retired police officer who does many, many odd jobs. So I did kind of take a lesson from him about just kind of hustling and, knowing how to communicate with several people at a time, work for several jobs at a time, move, just constantly working on that. So that's something I picked up from him. But the acting is actually something that I got into in high school. Here's why. Right. As you can imagine, most people don't even consider like Hollywood, acting, stuntman stuff in a town like that. It's not on the radar. My dad and I used to do Civil War reenacting. Are you familiar with?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So we traveled the country doing that. That was kind of like our father-son camping bonding time, right? No cell phones. Literally, I just got, we drag along, and we were cavalry, so we'd ride around on horseback, and then we'd camp out under the stars, but in the 1800s.
That is so cool,
It was neat, yeah. And doing that, I learned a lot of the things that horseback stunt riders learn out here.
Yes.
But read into me. I can do anything on a horse. I've jousted. I can shoot guns, bow and arrow, cannons going off all around me. I can keep control of my ride, all things like that. I even learned how to fall correctly and jump on different ways, mounts. So without even knowing it, I was accidentally trained as a stuntman.
Right.
Grew up, and
sorry to stop you there. How do they train a stuntman? I mean, did you have to do training already, like you were saying, or did they actually say, "Well, I've done this, this, and this"? And
that question, it's not so cut and dry, because depending on what your forte is, depending on what your skills are, you're gonna train different places. And some people are professionally trained, like my buddy runs a studio. where they work on all kinds of things, primarily fight choreography, but other things too. Falls. I've been to the fall gyms. I've jumped from like, I don't know, I'm not that high, but maybe like 30 feet, onto like a mat, but like learning how to flip and stuff. There's people who are real pros at that, but usually that's what they train in specifically. Whereas you've got guys who will do what I do, horseback things, you've got guys who will be, the precision drivers. It's really a bigger field than you would expect. Now I'm personally more of a jack of all trades. So I like to train different, areas. I know some combat. I've used that a couple times, and that's varies from like just simple boxing to like I did a little bit of Aikido. I've done some kung fu, swords, guns, things like that, in addition to horses. But that's just me.
Yes.
I've done some archery too. I've done that quite a bit actually. But yeah, I've never like jumped out of a 50-story building.
Right.
Right. I'm okay with that.
Right. So has that, obviously that's sort of helped you with having that sort of wide variety of skills as a stuntman to do that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what got me into acting too, actually. Like I said I did the Civil War reenacting as a kid.
Yeah.
As fate would have it, a friend of my dad works in Hollywood as a director, and they wanted to use a set that one of our friends had there's so many people involved in this had made in Kansas, and I got my first taste of film out there because they hired us to come out, and it's cool. And that's when I auditioned for my first play. I got the lead role, and then I did like one in college, and then I kind of took some time aside for the frat life. And
yeah. So it says here that you've done 2 degrees as well. So that doesn't take that takes a long time to do. So what were they? I couldn't find them on your. So tell us about your 2 degrees that you have.
Okay, yeah, no, I have a degree in mass communication and so marketing. Basically, you can take that and put that in any field.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's just because I kind of followed that because I really love people and I love just being around people and just having fun. And the more people the more opportunity you have. So it's kind of like a little cheat for me.
Yes. Yes.
And I have one in digital cinema, and I figured, hey, that could help me when I moved to LA, because I knew I was going to move to LA. I just wanted to get an education first. So I knocked those both out in 4 years. I was a busy guy. I'm a busy guy now, but I was a busy guy in college too. Not only was I the Greek Council president, but I also was on the student council. Let me see if I can. I was taking 24 credit hours at the time. I knocked out 2 majors, and I had a full-time girlfriend at the time who was awesome, but a handful. Sorority was a handful. I'll leave it at that. But that was all knocked out in about 4 years, and I'm like, I can do that. I can move to Hollywood, no problem, right?
Yeah. So you were saying that you got your first break doing the reenactment in Kansas City, right? So tell us what that experience was like. You said there was lots of people involved, including your father. So obviously a proud man seeing his son do something, filmed.
Yeah, no, it was actually really funny because in that experience, I wasn't supposed to be there. He got hired as the wagon driver. He was the chuck wagon driver. Yes. And I was like, hey, can I tag along? I want to go see what it's like to make a movie. That's exciting. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I went and, just kind of watched from the side. And they asked if I wanted to, they knew I was an equestrian. So they're like, hey, you want to be in this? I'm like, yeah, sure. How old are you? 15? Oh, yeah, you can. Too young. Yes. We don't do the paperwork.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just watch. But here's the deal. They were working on this stunt in a river one day with the horses. And they brought in like 4 or 5 professionals from Hollywood, out here. And this one guy couldn't do it. Like he couldn't can't get his horse to do it. I don't know where they picked him up at yet, but he must have fudged his resume. So they're like, what are we going to do? We need this for the scene. Hey, Jim. There's my dad's name, too. Hey, Jim, what's your kid doing right now? I don't know. Probably sitting watching us. Go get him. We're gonna audition him real quick. But I did the stunt. It was easy. It was so easy. Yeah. Maybe for me. I've done a lot stupider stuff on a horse. And nailed it. They're like, okay, we're gonna put you to work, kid. You're 18 on paperwork, just so you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. And away you went. So, how long was it before you actually did move out to LA? And what were you doing in between that period? I noticed you did plays as well. So was it short films? You know, tell us a little bit about before you went to LA.
I auditioned for my first play my senior year in high school because I knew I did that one with my dad, and we actually got hired by the same director to come back and do another one. One was a Civil War one was Jesse James. Nice. So I play a Jesse James gang member when I was like 17. That was a lot of fun. And I was like, hey, you know, if I'm going to be moving to Hollywood, maybe I should get a little more experience with acting. And I know that theater is a lot different than film, but I should get my feet wet, you know, see if I got what it takes. And I auditioned, first audition I'd ever done, got the lead role. So I felt pretty good about that. I'm like, hey, there must be something to this, right?
Right.
Amazing play. Like, it wasn't a musical, but we did a musical that fall too. Guys and Dolls was the one we did after that, and did that too. And then did one in college. Like I said, after that, kind of lived life a little bit.
Yes.
And then I did one out here, which was interesting. Actually, it was a small theater, a black box theater, but it was right up the street, so it was convenient. I knew a lot of people in it, so it was fun hanging out. And it was to The Dark Side of the Moon, which is the Pink Floyd album. So that was super trippy, but you know, that's Hollywood, right? Hollyweird. Yeah. That's what
Hollyweird. So I'm just and then so it's always interesting, and I've said it numerous times now on the podcast, is like when I go to LA, I really like the people there. You can go to a bar and you can turn to the person next to you and go, hey, where are you from? Or I'm from Chicago. Or where are you from? I'm from a small town in, Atlanta. Where are you from? I'm from, all walks of life. Not too many people here from LA. And I could just sit there and just listen to them, talk about their experiences. I want to be an actor. I want to be a makeup artist. I want to be a musician. I want to be a rock star. So what was the first experience like coming out to LA? What were your sort of impressions, and, what are your impressions now of LA?
I got to tell you, when I moved out here, it was like moving to Oz. It was, this is embarrassing, but I can laugh about it now. I didn't know how to cross the street. We have these little buttons that you push that, the little walk guy comes on. Yes. And to like a stoplight, and I was waiting for the little walk guy because I knew there was supposed to be one, but he wouldn't come. And I didn't know the button was there. So I waited for like 4 lights, and I'm like, is it broken? What do I do? And then someone finally comes along and hits the button. I'm just like, okay, gotcha. So that's how green I was. Okay. I had literally never lived in a situation like this. And it was tough too. I didn't know anyone. I hit up a few fraternity brothers who hit up other fraternity brothers. These guys went to Chico up north. Right. I didn't know them personally, but someone had recommended them, like a friend of a friend. And they're like, yeah, dude, we've been living here for a bit. You can stay at our place. And God bless their heart, I was staying in a closet on the floor on old couch cushions, which I later found out were infested with bed bugs, which I did not know were real, but I assure you they are, and they're not fun.
Yes.
That was my first experience in LA. It was not great, but I'll tell you what, seeing the beach for the first time,
Yeah.
You can't. You just
Game
can't.
over.
I was hooked. I was hooked.
Yes.
And yeah, now though, I mean, I know what LA is, and I say that with humility because no one knows what LA is.
Yes.
It's
Trying to figure it out, you know.
it's got its own pulse, and
Yes.
it changes on a dime. But I have been blessed to find the opportunities that I have and help me navigate my way through these muddy waters.
Yes.
It's a beautiful town, but you really, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, you really have to have a thick skin to survive out here because people will take advantage of you.
Oh,
They will
yes.
tell you they're not true, and they will be very convincing. Now it's up to you to just make the best decisions and for yourself and just stay true to yourself too, because there's some things that sound great and you might be tempted to do, but again, we've all, gone through crazy things, but
Yes.
I've heard some pretty dark stories,
Yeah.
and that's what people don't talk about.
Yes.
But that aside, so again, if anyone is coming out here, if anyone's watching this thinking about it, don't let that deter you. Just keep it
Absolutely.
in mind. You know what the great part of LA is there's opportunity. There's just endless opportunity.
Yes.
And a lot of it is luck. But you know what? If you play your cards right, you can make your own luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's taking that chance to go there, and this is what I want to do. So I need to go to LA to try it. If it doesn't work out, okay, cool. I'll do something else. But at least that's the thing that I like about the people some of the people that are there, that just doing it, just having a go, trying to fulfill their career and their dreams. So yep, totally agree. And there's a guy, one of my friends from Australia. He's an aspiring, he's done a couple of good things here in Australia. Then he went to LA, and he's just this little small fish in a big pond. So it's all good to go to LA, but I guess you sort of need to sort of work out what you want to do and have the right people around you as well, right?
Yeah, and just try to be a good person too. A lot of people think that they have to step on others to get ahead here. Maybe it works for some people, but I've seen more often than not it coming back to bite them in the butt because karma goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going through a couple of your stunt performances. Very early. It says like 2006, and then there's a gap between 2006 and then 2016. 10 years between the stunt gig. So you, besides stunt, you, like I said before, writer, director, producer, actor, TV series. There's where do you fit the time? Again, it's can you be in three places at the one time, or?
Well, I'll tell you, and I don't want to burst your bubble here, but the first one that's on there is the high school the one that I was talking about with the History Channel, PBS. Yes. So there's a gap there where I was in college.
Right, got you.
Finishing high school. So there's a couple of years there. Though I will say, I moved to LA, and this is still my primary thing is acting. I do stunt work. And I love it, but I work hard. Like stunt work kind of comes on me based on like I'll get submitted from an agent still here and there too, but I put most of my energy into acting. And there's different opinions on that. People will tell you, oh, well, you shouldn't act if you want to do stunts, and oh, it's great if you act if you do stunts. But again, you just got to figure out what's best for you. Now, to answer your question about the director and everything, I've done some short films that I've directed, and it's mainly because I've had the opportunity to work with certain people. Right. For example, I shot a Western in Bishop, California, Alabama Hills, which is where they shot some of Star Wars. I believe that's the original Tatooine was up there. I know it's the Star Wars. I can't remember if it's Tatooine or a different part, but Tremors, a lot of old spaghetti westerns, part of the first Iron Man. Like we were shooting right there in all these sets. And I'll tell you, I went up there to shoot this feature film that I got hired for as a stuntman. And I had them write me some lines too, because like, I'm like, it's not worth my time to drive up there if you're going to pay me like this. And I don't get like, there's a lot of negotiation that happens, you know?
Yes.
So I got them to, you know, meet my demands, and it was terrible. These people were fresh out of, they kept saying, oh, we went to USC. We went to USC. So we know film. I'm like, when did you graduate? And like, how much did your parents pay for you to graduate?
That's right.
You don't know anything. It's so obvious. So there were probably maybe, I'd say there were probably 60 to 80 people on the set, right? And we were all stuck in the middle of the desert. To get to this ghost town that we shot at, we had to take a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get there, and not all of us had that. I know I didn't. And keep in mind, we drove 4 hours to get to just the base of this like mountain that you have to go up, and you have to basically rock crawl to get to this town. And we're stuck up here for like all day. We want to leave. We're not being fed. There's no water. Like we're sitting in this saloon, which is cool. We're having fun, but we end up just like shooting our own thing on our phones to get some footage feels, because we're in great costumes in this great set, but the director and producer could not pull it off. So,
oh my god!
To this day, I call it the nightmare set. But you never know what's going to come out of these things, because I'm sorry, I said the producer before. The producer was actually a really cool guy, and he lived up there. He works on commercials all the time. He's very well. Yes. He's very accomplished. He's very busy. I was lucky enough to get a ride back home in his Jeep, or back down the hill. And he and I had got to talking because I write quite a bit. And he's like, oh, I like those ideas. Tell you what, you guys seem cool. Write me something. Just give me like a 10-page short that we can shoot up here, and I'll provide everything. You want horses? I'll get you horses. You want costume, weapon, a drone? I got it all. I'm like, I'll take all of that. Location, all. And it was like, he paid for everything. It was amazing. So it was really neat meeting people like that. And I've worked with him since in the past, but I wrote up, you know, like the 10-page thing, like, yes, I had it to him maybe 3-4 days later, something like that. And I had just done a movie like a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, where I'd met another guy. We were both knights riding into battle with suits of armor. And I was talking to him, you know, between takes. He's like, you know, I'm like, hey, how'd you learn horses? I'm like, I did some warrior acting. I grew up with them. He's like, well, I used to do medieval jousting. I'm like, no way. We're talking about, like, oh yeah, how do you usually you know, fall like this way, or like what would you do in this situation? Just, you know, kind of goof, you know, talking. And he's like, well, you know, I do all this stuff, but I don't have any real footage of it. So these casting directors don't know that I can do it, because I moved out here and I never thought to film myself. It was just a live show that I did. You know, I'm like, me too. It's crazy. So, you know, I wrote a part for him so where he could get shot off the horse. So that looked great. We had a shot from the drone up above. It looked amazing. And I had my friend Nand, who is he's not Native American, but he looks pretty close. And so you know, I'm gonna write him in. He does fire breathing. So him to like breathe fire for a scene, and so we had everyone's talents that they could show. I did a little bit of gun spinning, and I got to do some trick roping, and it all panned out, you know. But I've really only directed about 3 times, including that. And that was a great set. It was very fortuitous. Everyone just meshed well, you know. It was a good group.
Yes.
It never works that way. I got lucky. Directing is a pain in the butt that I wouldn't wish on it. You've got so much going on. You've got to deal with this over here, that over there. This went wrong. That went wrong. This person's late. This person is hungry.
Yeah.
Nightmare. So I prefer not to.
But in saying that, in the future, if something come up and said, "Hey, we want you to direct. We've seen your previous," would it be like a money factor, or would it be, just?
It would certainly, because everything's got a price tag out here.
Yes,
So yes,
absolutely.
consider it, but I'd have to know who was involved. I'd have to
Yes.
know the professional, because I've done those shoots, and I'd prefer not to get into it. But
And
not everyone's.
would you be able to, I'm sure you'd be able to have your team as well if you're a future producer as well. You'd want to have the guys that are reliable.
It would certainly be a money issue, for sure. And I would keep that. And again, one of my majors was digital cinema. I learned editing. I learned pre-production, post-production, lights, camera, action, sound, all of it. So I know every angle, which has helped me over the years. I did some of that in school. So I'm confident doing it. So I know now that I've had the experience, I feel like I could do it for money and not just for like side projects, which is interesting that you bring that up, actually, because I wrote a Star Wars fan film for a group of the stunt guys, because these guys are experts in running, jump, spin kicks, and all this stuff. And like, let's put a lightsaber in their hand and could look cool. Right? We filmed part of that, and we have one more day of pickup shots. And you know what? Once this comes out, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's got its kinks, and we had, again, issues on set. But if it's done right, it could turn out pretty well. So I mean, there is a possibility that I would get asked to direct, just based on what what people see and what they think. So
Yes.
never count it out.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of being on a set and being in the right place at the right time, we spoke about it a little bit before, that you crossed paths with Mr. Brad Pitt as well. So, you were saying before you come from the same area. So what was that experience like?
No, that was great. Yeah, no, I met Brad on was it Paramount set, and we were actually kind of crossing ways. I was in my newsy outfit they put me in for this thing. He was actually coming from a meeting, which I had just seen DiCaprio too, so I know it was for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it was a press meeting. But yeah, we just kind of crossed paths, and I'm like, hey man, good to see another Missouri guy repping it out here. And it's funny because his publicist is like, hey, leave Mr. Pitt alone. And Brad's like, what'd you say? I'm like, yeah, dude, like I'm from your neck of the wood. He stops, he comes over and talks to me. And he's like, oh man, like, where'd you go to school? Oh yeah, no, like, I know that area. Oh, and because I've done shows too. I've done cowboy shows where the gun spinning, the rope, just his, like, where he's from. So we had a good old time. We were talking for me, and it would, it seemed longer than it was because he's an idol of mine.
Yeah.
But it was probably only like a minute or something like that. But it was funny. The publicist said, we gotta go. He's like, shut up, man, I'm busy.
Yeah. But do you sort of find that with other stars as well? Like they're just like pretty down to earth, or is it just depends?
It's hit or miss. I actually did yoga class with Chris Pratt, and that guy is, and he's super cool. We hung out in the locker room, him, me, and my buddy, just like chilling for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, talking about this, talking about that. So down to earth, super cool. I met Travolta on an elevator. I think it was funny because I think, I'm trying to remember, like, he walked in with his security guard, and I was already in it. I was just kind of spacing out and like thinking about, because I think I was coming from an acting class or something. And he walks in, I'm like not looking at him, but I'm thinking, that guy looked familiar. Wait a second. Wait, no. Well, I am in Hollywood. And I just look at him, and he's sitting here smiling, the biggest like shit-eating grin, looking at me, and like, yeah, I was waiting for you to look, man. And we shook hands. We talked for a second, so we hit our floor, but he was nice. oh man, I don't want to like talk dirty about certain people, but certain people that I've met though too are just, ooh, just the worst people in the world. Just so spoiled and so full of themselves. I'll out of respect, I won't say who they are.
You can tell me after, confidentially.
I don't even think you'll be surprised.
But of course, but like you're gonna get those people that are, look at me, this is me, and everybody else lives in the world that I created.
Yeah. And there's people you love to hate. Bruce Campbell is a huge actor. He is really funny, actually. Did I talk about the Outlander thing earlier?
Yes.
So that same company hired me to be Ash from Ash versus Evil Dead. Like they made it into a Star series, but it was, the Evil Dead 1 and 2, Army of Darkness, classics, cult classics.
Yes.
And Bruce Campbell, I was hired to be him along with like 30 other guys. So we were literally all Bruce Campbell. Like we had black Bruce Campbell, we had white Bruce Campbell, we had short Bruce Campbell, tall Bruce Campbell. Like it was goofy and it was great. We all had our chainsaw arms and just goofing around with people.
Yes.
And of course, we, hung out with him a little bit, not really hung out. He was going from photo op to photo op, but like he wanted to get some press pictures with us. And, I got to talk to him for a little bit. And it's the weirdest thing because he wasn't like nice, but he was like the dick that you love to hate, He was just like perfectly like I can't hate you, man. This is who you are. He wasn't like acting that way to be mean to anyone. It's just like his personality. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, totally understand. And so I'm just looking at the list of what you've done through your career, and we could spend another 3 or 4 hours going through it. And but can you like one or two sort of highlights of your career that sort of stand out, like if you had to show something to like a producer or a director, what would you sort of, okay, these are my strengths?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's tricky though, because for example, that almost every set that I've been on has a positive and negative.
Yes.
I worked 2 seasons. Only one has been released so far, but I worked 2 seasons on an Amazon show called Backstabber. Now, it was okay. I was the main villain, and it was great to be on set constantly for months at a time. You really, when you get an opportunity like that, you learn your lines so quickly. You really are just like, there's a lot of pressure on you, and if you really have to learn how to handle that. So that was great, and I actually got a Golden Globe nomination for that, which was really cool. Just the nomination.
Amazing.
I didn't win, but that's
nomination,
okay.
Or that's still very high praise.
I'll take what I can get. But the show itself was a nightmare set. Not the nightmare set, but it was not fun. Right. The director, creator, was not respectful of anyone, and we all eventually ended up quitting.
Wow.
Like we talked to our agents after season 2, our contracts, like we had to renew them, and a lot of us were just like, nah, we're good. So you won't see a season 3.
Is it just like a matter of communication, like that fell through, like communication between the?
Very selfish person. He wasn't respectful of people's time. He had attitude, and I really don't like talking bad about anyone. But I mean, trust me, I'm actually doing him justice. Like I'm actually being. I won't tell you.
The thing is, the one thing I guess you're learning from all these, bad situations, and put that into your sort of repertoire. You know what I mean?
It's true, and in high school, before I got into, acting and stunt work, I did a lot of sports, and I actually at our school, Northwest, we were one of the best wrestling teams in the nation.
Oh,
Like, and I'm 6'3", gangly. Like, I put in since I've been out here in a good way, but like, I was Mr. Fantastic out there. You know, I was not built to be a wrestler, but
yes.
we were way better than our basketball team. Like, way more known. The glory, man. I just wanted the glory.
Yeah.
So it was basically a crash dummy for the better wrestlers, and I was okay with that. I felt like I was doing my part. Learning from just athletes on that caliber, and my dad. You know, he's a big advocate for this. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and there's something to be learned in every situation, even if it's just, you know, oh, I should have put the guy in a head and arm rather than gone for the cow catcher. You know, I'll keep it in mind next time. Or
Yeah.
so compare that to out here. Oh, I shouldn't have gone to that Western shoot, you know, 4 hours away and sat in the sun. But you never know what comes of it either, though, too.
That's right.
So it's all in the mentality. And again, I think that goes with we keep coming back to the thick skin you need out here. You need thick skin, you need willpower, and you need to be able to turn any situation into a positive. Because have situations like that.
Yes. The whole passion of being an actor, that's, you know, driving 4 hours for a, you know, a short film or something like that, you know. That's what it's all about, you know.
Yeah, you know, they say the key to acting is, right? You're gonna hear this from everybody out here. They'll beat it into you. Key to acting, reacting.
Yeah. How long were you like a natural at doing that, or was it something that you really had to work hard on?
Well, I'll tell you what. I always had the mentality for it, which helped. And I'm a good learner, so I pick up on things pretty quickly. As we talked about before, I got lucky and was trained on the stunts on horseback with guns, swords since being a kid. So it just kind of happened. Yeah. Whereas the fighting became a thing out here. A lot of it, honestly, I picked up from being on sets. So I learned a couple fight sequences for some shows that I was on. And like we'd have a choreographer there that would just teach me simple things here and there. So, and then that kind of went into, once I got a taste for that, it went into taking some courses. There's a place called Jam where a lot of the stunt guys will go and perform, and you'll see some interesting things there. You'll see like gymnasts, you'll see trickers, a lot of martial arts happening. They have they have a foam pit. You can work on your flips. They have a trampoline for the same purpose, and that's where they have that kind of high dive situation too. So you go to a gym like that. Someone I'd worked with, I'd actually just gotten off of a set for a pilot that I shot, kind of a vigilante superhero type of show. I don't think it ever went anywhere, and last I heard, it's still in post production and might go, but I don't know. But one of the guys that I worked with on that, who was doing a lot, he was flipping all over the place. I'm like, hey man, how long the same question you're asking? How long did it take you? You know, where do you practice? What's the key? And he's like, come with me, man. I'll take you up there sometimes, you know? So I went up there and started going, learned a thing here or there, you know, and that was a good first step, you know, and other thing, you know, and then once you have a basic knowledge, of like how to move, I was taking Kung Fu shortly after that. So Wushu Kung Fu is actually what they use in a lot of different fight forms out here. It's kind of like the way I see it is for fight choreography, and people will argue with this, but this is just the easiest way I can put it into words. For a lot of fight sequences, Wushu is similar to Latin. If you want to learn like German or I think it was German, French, Spanish, the ones that Latin all came from. So it's like the baseline that you can build off of. So it's just honestly just kind of the hustling thing. You know, you find people who are doing something that you think can help you make a relationship and go train with them.
Yeah, right. And
Pretty
speaking of stunts and all that, have you had any sort of like injuries in this time? Like, you know, you're throwing your body around all the time, you know. Is there been any sort of injuries, or you been lucky?
I tell you what, I've only broken 2 bones in my life.
That's a good start.
And they weren't doing anything stupid. Walking, and one was just I tripped in my apartment. That was it. They were,
well, I shouldn't be laughing. That's you know,
no,
that's a good.
I did accidentally get hit in the face doing a fight sequence once, and it chipped a tooth.
Right.
And it was really funny because I was actually bleeding, and the director's like, "Well, what was that? Like, did someone give him makeup? Like,
yes."
Come from?" And I was like, no, he got me. Like,
right.
he swung too wide, man. So not bad though, honestly.
Yes.
I've been very lucky. And I think a reason that I'm attracted to it also is not just because I have the experience with the horses, and not just because I like to live life in the fast lane as it is, you know, and they do all these crazy things. I've always kind of been an adrenaline junkie. When I went to Spain a few years ago with a couple of the guys, I ran with the bulls, which is one of the dumbest things, and I loved it. I got hit. I got a great video, a little POV of it going over, and got a hoof in the face. It was great. That's all I filmed. You know, cliff diving. You know, I did a photo shoot actually on the edge of a skyscraper in downtown LA. Now, I didn't have to do anything for that, but let me tell you, my heart was pumping. The edge. And the photographer was scared to death, and I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm scared too. That's not common for me.
Yes.
It was scary.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm always interested to talk about, like with people in the entertainment industry, is like LA, great place to live, but there's a whole image. There's you know, the pressures of, you know, looking your best at all times, keeping fit and healthy. So how do you keep physically fit? Have you always had that sort of drive, that, you know, to keep fit, you know, eat healthy food? You know, how does that all work for you?
Fitness has been a journey out here for me.
Yeah.
I've always been an athlete, at least since high school.
Yes.
I used to be overweight as a kid, so when high school came around and I managed to lose it all, I grew up instead of out, and then I started working out. I just kind of made my own regimen. I was like, I'm never going back. It's just It's life so much better when you're healthy. You just get so much more out of it.
Yes.
But moving out here was different because I've never been the guy who's had natural abs. I know those guys. Those are the guys we all hate. You know, let's be honest. You can eat a pizza and then you got a full 6-pack. Like, dude, worked that way.
Yes.
But I've picked things up as I've been out here. You know, I've done commercials, I've done fitness shoots, and every time I do it, I pick up on something from someone. A lot of the people that I know are also in the industry, so they have to, keep up with their bodies as well. One of my best friends out here is actually the reigning champ, two years of Mr. Muscle Beach in Venice Beach. So he's a physique competitor, which is anyone who's not familiar. Physique is basically how big you can get when you don't do steroids. You can still get pretty big, apparently. Yeah, I mean, it's being around like-minded people and picking up things. I'll say COVID sucks and closed my gym, and I've still been out of shape about it.
Yeah. When's it going to open? But
well, see, I've got a membership to Gold's, but I actually just canceled that because my home, it's a traveling membership, and my home base gym back in Missouri closed down because of all this.
Yeah.
So whatever. But in my apartment building, there's a nice gym. And I'm, aside from like one other person sometimes, nobody uses it. So it's like Jimmy's personal gym. And it's great. And so you can imagine my disdain when they closed it up and made it into a mailroom.
Yeah.
Because they're like, you get the gym back when the pandemic's over. I'm like, but nobody uses it but me.
That's
Nobody.
right.
Like, leave me alone. Let me have my sanctum, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So, but I mean, I've got some weights here. I've got the basics. I've got a pull-up bar. I've got weights. I've got a aerobic ball, things like that. And you know, the weather's always perfect here.
Yes.
Real for that, so I can go running whenever I want. I go to the beach once a week now, hang out with some friends there. And I'll tell you too, when I work on like, you know, just brushing up on like my bow staff or my swords, it can take a lot out of you. I'll go to the park, you know, be whipping those things around, and you feel it in your abs. You work up a sweat. I'll be working with my ropes, trick roping, same type of thing. So I find ways.
Yeah, right. And have you done your push-ups recently? Like your 1,000 push-ups? You know?
Haven't read Ted's book. Don't tell him that. I have to. He's posting it all the time. I feel bad. So
it's been taken off the market. It's been taken off the market apparently. So that's my excuse. So yeah, you got deregistered or something because other people were trying to write books that were similar to his. So, but what a cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Ask him about that. That's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. Yeah, everybody coming out, you know, these nutritionists, writing all these books and changing little things about it. And so, anyway, he's the original. Anyway, he's still doing it, and what a cool guy. And you've met him too on Flirty Dancing. You've both done Flirty Dancing, so let's talk about that.
I've never met Ted in person.
Oh, right.
We connected via Instagram because we were on the same episode. But yeah. He's been real cool. You know, we talk from time to time. I love seeing him. You know, he's one of the few people on the show who, or I don't know how many. I didn't watch all the episodes, but he's one of the people on the show who stayed with his match. So that was great. Yes. Very happy for him. So yeah, good for him.
And you did it recently. I do believe it was at the start of this year.
Yeah, we filmed back in October, actually.
Right.
Which was actually a pretty quick turnaround, all things considered.
So it doesn't say on your resume that you're a dancer. So where did that all come about?
They want, you know, diversity of people's careers, and you know, actors are a dime a dozen out here. So they wanted me, you know, for my stunt work. And we actually did a whole day of filming. We filmed in my a different gym that is currently closed. It's called the Bad Cave. Right. Brazen Action Design is what it stands for. And these are some serious stunt guys, like some real players. But we Fox had rented that out because I know the owner, so he gave us the hookup, and we did a lot of like fighting there and some flips and things like that. And they didn't use it. I guess they only had so much time, and they wanted to focus more on my horsemanship, which is fine with me. You know, I showed off a little bit of roping and whatnot. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a good opportunity to, you know, just kind of have fun, you know. And here's the thing, I love to dance. That doesn't make me a professional dancer. Not claiming that. People would argue if I did. But I'm a free spirit, man. Honestly, that anything that makes me move, you know, that's what it's all about. So it was cool. You know, I don't know if they told people on the show. I only had 2 days, like 2 4-hour sessions to learn that dance, which is no small thing. There was a lot going on, and we'd never been to the location before. There were no steps on the location. I had to run down like 2 flights of steps, and whenever we were, you know, rehearsing, it was like, just run in place. I'm like,
wow. And who was your who was the person that was helping you out? Was it the
Wow, Valcher or Malfsky? Yeah, and I mean, I didn't know who he was at the time. I really never watched, shows like that. And he was, I guess, on Dancing with the Stars. But I mean, he knows his stuff. He's a real pro, and yeah, so that was really fortunate that he could help out. And Audrey was my dance partner, but you didn't get to see her.
right?
That was
Right. Well, let's get close to wrapping it up here, Jimmy. I think we can talk for another 2 hours. But what is the future? I know it's a sort of vague question now in the pandemic, but after the pandemic, what does the future hold for Jimmy?
So obviously things are uncertain right now because of the pandemic, but luckily I have a gig coming up in Missouri, actually, down at a place called Silver Dollar City, which is in the heart of Branson. Now, Silver Dollar City is a cowboy-themed theme park, and I've done this show before, so it's kind of like I'm just returning home to see a bunch of people that I already know. And I do trick rope, gun spinning, put on like a little comedy show,
Nice.
and there'll be a chuck wagon there too. So they're going to be like cooking up some recipes. And, so we'll see where that goes. My representation out there wants to do a sponsorship with Jack Links. So we might get some free beef jerky out of it. We'll see. I'm not going to count my chickens, but that'd be great. So yeah, that's the big thing coming up. I just had a second callback for a movie shooting in Boston.
Nice.
Like a frat movie, which I've done those before. I've been told that I'm still very much a frat guy, which I think is a compliment. Probably not. But yeah.
And continue traveling, and will you you're happy to stay in LA, or is for the time being?
It's tricky right now. I definitely will be staying in LA, but it is tricky when you're not allowed to work out here, paying rent because it's not cheap.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got enough money saved up that I'm good, but it would be nice not to have to dip into my savings, and I think a lot of people can identify with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Right now, I'm very fortunate to be spending a month, or I think closer to 2 months, back at Silver Dollar City, because I get to do what I love. Maybe plan something for when I get back. Now that I'm thinking about it, we have a couple projects coming up with the same stunt crew we did the Star Wars team. They're working on for a Kickstarter, so we'll see where that goes.
Right.
Thing. We'll see.
And speaking of Star Wars and the Marvel movies, we can see behind you some things over there. So, are you wanting to do a little bit of a tour, or
I'll show you some fun stuff. Yeah. Let me show you. Let me see what I got here. Take you. See how far I can get. Place is not cleaned up too much, so I'll spare you some parts. But no, I got my guns here. These are my trick guns for spinning.
Yes.
Just some kind of fun stuff. There's my mentor right there. Can you see that?
Yes.
He used to be a professional trick rider, bull rider, and Bron taught me some roping. That's one of the it's really hard when I can't see. Comic-Con that I went to.
Right.
This is when I actually went to the premiere of Thor Ragnarok, and Chris Hemsworth was there. So
come on,
I didn't get to meet him, but he seemed like a cool guy.
Another Aussie.
What's that?
Another Aussie.
Oh yeah, right. You guys are all over the place.
Yeah, we're surrounding you guys. There's lots of Aussies over there now, like trying to break into the. Yeah.
You guys are doing all the work. Stop it. Let me see. This is that Ash vs. Evil Dead. A lot of the guys signed that from the Comic-Con. And I had to take this down. I was doing an audition earlier, actually. But Outlander, got all the guys to sign that.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, stuff like that.
What have your experiences been like with going to Comic-Con?
Oh
It's
man,
down in San Diego, right? San Diego?
what's that?
The Comic-Cons, they're down in San Diego, right?
Yeah. Oh man, they're incredible. Honestly, even if you're not a comic book fan, I recommend everyone go to one at some point. Because these days, it's not just comic books; it's like movies. Celebrities will go down there do signings. I met Lou Ferrigno at a signing.
Right.
He's a big guy still. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But it's just the energy down there is insane. Like, and everyone's dressed it's like Halloween, but it's like 5 days of Halloween.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
But I actually I know you're trying to wrap up here, but now that you got me thinking, like, I got this. I do a lot of traveling, as you know,
Yeah.
and it is for work. And I actually got this at the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, down in Florida. I was there with Fox, and I got treated like a king, man. I was literally just representing Fox Sports, and they fly me all over the country. Like, nah, I probably shouldn't talk about that. You guys will get jealous.
Oh, come on! Like you're living the dream. You're living our dreams. So come on, tell us. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've done football tours, baseball, hockey, freaking golf tours.
So you're like
Like,
obviously a big baseball, football fan, right? Did you actually play in college or?
No. I was the only sport I did in college was track, and
Right.
I only did it freshman year.
Right.
But no.
How did you get involved with Fox with the Major League Sports?
Sometimes I do like on-air representation, so I don't want to say like a reporter, but it's kind of like a sideline reporter.
Right.
And I worked with them once or twice. I did a commercial for them for the Angels. And after that, they kind of just liked me, and they're like, "Hey, we need you and like one other person to just travel the country and just help out. Sometimes you'll be on air, sometimes you'll just be like giving out free stuff to kids or whatever." I'm like, that sounds good to me.
Right.
I mean, just the opportunities. I mean, I've been to Fort Bragg, and we like entertain the troops out there.
Wow.
All-Star games. I met Shaq, and
Come on.
I swear,
I met Shaq too.
Yeah,
I met Shaq in LA.
he's like half T-Rex. I swear. It's just,
he's a big boy.
but
I give him a handshake and it was like double my hand. I was like, oh my God.
I'd be in the NBA if I were that big too. Like,
yeah, that's right.
He's a nice guy. He's a big teddy bear. But yeah, no, just very fortunate, But I will say, I've had a lot of luck in the industry. A lot of luck, just with things that I do and opportunities that I've gotten. But it was all a chance that I took coming out here. I never would have gotten that if I didn't take it. And
let me ask this question, Jimmy. What would you say? And we've spoken about it, but I want you to say it again. What would you say to an inspiring actor that's from Australia or from anywhere really that wants to make it in LA?
Okay, there's a few things I'd say. The first of which would be open-minded. Don't be a drama queen. Don't take yourself too seriously, but also don't sell yourself short. There's just a million opportunities out here, and there'll be things that like you'll go to an audition sometime, and you'll be like, "That was the best audition ever. Why didn't I get it?" You'll be waiting for a call. Why didn't I get it? Don't let it bother you. It has nothing to do with you. It's either you're too tall. That happens to me a lot. You can't dwarf the other actors. You're too tall.
That's right.
Wrong hair color. We don't like the way that your shoulder is a little, higher than the other one. I don't know. It could be anything. So just do not take it to heart. Just move on to the next. While you're doing that, this is the second point. While you're doing that, be looking for other opportunities. A lot of people make this mistake when they get an agent out here, and they say, "Oh, I got an agent. Now I don't have to look for work." No.
Yes.
Your agent helps you work, but it's still all up to you. Okay.
That's right.
So if he's submitting or she's submitting, you're also submitting. Okay. So be humble, because you never know when the next opportunity is going to be. Just because you got a good gig doesn't mean you can skate. Just be nice to people, and this is I think a lesson that most people should have in life in general. Be nice to people, because that's when opportunities come. People want to work with people who are nice to other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be motivated, stay motivated, work hard. That should do it.
That's great advice. Great advice. And where can our listeners find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm relatively new to TikTok, so I won't put that there. But my Instagram, you can always find me there. That's just my name, Jimmy Flint-Smith, at Jimmy Flint-Smith. You can look for me on Facebook too. If you do that, though, you're gonna have to send me a message, because I'm a little more picky about who I let into that. So, Instagram primarily be the way to go.
Instagram, not a problem. And before we go, I've just got a couple of random questions that I like to ask. You just give me first thing that comes into your mind. Couple questions. Are you ready, Jimmy?
Let's do it. Fire away.
All right. What is your top 5 international destinations?
Places that I want to go, or places that I've been?
Where you've been to?
Where I've been to.
Mm-hmm.
I love Scotland. Edinburgh was amazing. I'd go back in a heartbeat. Amazing. Germany, same way. Love Munich. The beer is amazing. Yeah. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to give you 2 that I've been to and 3 that I want to go to, just because
okay.
The other one, but I already know that those 2 are narrowed down. Australia and New Zealand. It's going to be a package deal. I can't wait to go. It's going to be amazing. In fact, I'm going to have to talk to you after the show about getting a little kangaroo, because I've been tossing around. Everyone's got little dogs out here. I want to get a kangaroo. You might have something to say about that. So we'll talk after the show. Let's see. So I've been to Switzerland, but I would like to go back and explore it more. I'd like to go skiing out there. So, and I went in the summer last time, so we'll do Switzerland. And lastly, St. Petersburg.
You've been to Russia?
No, this is where I want to go.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I switched it up on. No, it just looks amazing, so I gotta go.
Yes, yeah, and the whole culture thing just, yeah, it's drawing me in as well.
What can I say?
Yeah, absolutely. And your top, I'm not going to say 5 this time, I'm going to say 3. So your top 3 favorite actors all time.
All time. Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's amazing. Everything is gold. Jack Nicholson. And Brad Pitt. Those 3.
That's some pretty good ones. Pretty good ones right there.
1/3 of the way there.
And movies. What are your all-time favorite movies? I keep forgetting to say this one, and yeah. So I'm always interested to know, all time. I mean, that's a big, broad, lots of movies, but I want to see your variety of interests.
Oh yeah. Over the place. I like dramas a lot. Mysteries are awesome, but I will say my top 2. This is a dead tie. Breakfast Club, classic, and American Psycho.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely good ones right there. And major league teams. Who's your favorite major league team?
Cardinals, no doubt.
Cardinals.
Love my bird.
Yeah. And you said you used to go and watch them play there all the time, right?
Oh yeah, Busch Stadium, man. That's as close as we get to vacation. I think out in LA or out in St. Louis. That's everyone can unite around going to a Cardinals game. It's
yeah. And what was the rivalry like the Cardinals versus the Cubs, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Those Cubbies.
Yeah.
They're going down when they play us.
And finally, I always like to know about music. Who are your top 2 or 3 artists, musical artists?
You know, I don't listen to them as much anymore, but I've always been a fan of Linkin Park.
Come on.
Journey.
Yes.
And let me see. Really like Kygo a lot, actually. It's very interesting. You know, I like country music, but I also like house music. I'm not picky. I've been into, you know, electro house a lot lately. So.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy. Thank you very much for your time. Amazing talent. Again, I don't know how you fit all this into one schedule. You know, there should be like, I don't know if there's 3 or 4 Jimmys running around, you know, doing other jobs, but amazing talent. Continue to do what you're doing. You know, bit of a role model for some of the people coming to LA, you know, that want to sort of go into your sort of field. So really, really appreciate your time, and come back on next time after the pandemic, and we'll keep going with your story.
Love to. Thanks for having me.
All right, Jimmy. Thanks again for your time. Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.